Hello everyone and welcome back. Hopefully in this episode we will claim Dublin, and from Dublin we will claim the Crown of Ireland, and the long road will be over. It has been a very long series of videos. If you've been with me since the start, I have no idea how you've sat through this entire series, but you have my utmost thanks for doing so, and I hope that you've learned a little bit about the game and can now enjoy it as much as I do. So let's set the clock rolling, and there we go. The request to end that plot has come through. I'm carrying on this recording directly from the last one. I was feeling it, so you know, gotta push in and strike while the iron is hot, as they say. So hence why I've not gone for my usual check the council, check the laws, check the tech, you know, do the usual checks. Make sure that you do. The only reason I'm not doing it is because, as I said, I'm following this recording on. So I can get rid of this plot now. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. Plot to revoke the county of Desmond. Possibly not. And plot to kill Gilbert Dunbar, heir to the Duchy of Lothian. Okay, I've had a daughter, so I fulfilled that ambition. That gives me a little bit of piety. I'll just pick amass wealth because it's the only one I can do now. And amassing wealth is really what we need. But unfortunately, trying to get together 500 gold is a pain in the neck. It only takes about 300 to create the title that we're after. Okay, so who's this guy? He's a half-brother of mine. He has a strong claim on the Duchy of Munster, so he's a pretender. Well, he's not a pretender, but he does have a claim. Pretenders are the people whose claims are most valid, if you will. Everyone's claim is the same. The only difference between claims are weak claims and strong claims, but the people who, in theory, who are further up the line of succession, if you will, are the ones who get that penalty to their opinion of you for being pretenders. So this guy likes me, which means he's useful. He's an intricate web weaver, so his intrigue is very nice. He's gregarious, he's patient, envious, and greedy. So this guy is actually very useful. His high intrigue score, but he has a terrible stewardship. I'd like to try and keep this guy within my realm if I can, because his skills would be quite useful to me. On the other hand, male members of your dynasty are just so useful for spreading that dynasty. So let's have a look and see if there's anywhere we can marry him off. And is it this guy who's here? Yes, here he is. I'd say he was my half-brother, so he's a sibling. Okay, so we actually have some eligible duchesses who we could marry him to, and in theory, of course, have those territories pass into my realm. Duchess of Slavonia. Yes, this could be useful. Let's have a look at who she really is. So she's willing to marry, even if she would prefer a matrilineal marriage. She has a strong claim on Vazdin, Duchy of Slavonia, County of Zagreb. So she's got quite a nice territory there. We unchecked de jure, so she's got 2 there. So her position is a little bit precarious depending on her relations with her neighbours. But, on the other hand, it's territory that we could possibly get our hands on, or at the very least, we can get our foot in the door. So I will create that marriage. Now he's not in my direct line of succession, which means that there's going to be problems with actually trying to reunite Ireland and Croatia and turn this little bit of Croatia into Ireland. But at the same time, as I say, if you can just get your dynasty rooted in places, opportunities start to pop up. So that's useful there. Okay, let's press this de jure claim for Dublin. The military is strong. so there's little reason not to just go for it. Okay, we can call in allies. And she's a little bit hesitant. I don't really want to spend the money, but let's see where that goes. And again, I'm just going to use the vassals here because really the vassals are all I need. Everything else is just so much gravy. Okay, so she's not going to join, so these vassals aren't going to be enough. But what they will do is reduce the strength of the attacking force a little, and more than that, it's going to again reduce the troops available to my vassals for... Oh, they won! Bloody hell. I don't think they're going to have enough to lay siege. 225. No, there's not quite enough of them there. So I'll have these guys just chase down that army and mess it around a little bit, and I'll use my personal troops to press that claim. Okay, looks like we've well and truly mashed them. There's no way that army is... Yep, that army's been wiped out. I've over 1,000 troops at my command. 2 times 6, 12. Not quite. Ooh, the Hashashin. They have been created. Headquarters. Okay, so that's not really relevant to me because I'm not playing in anywhere near an Islamic nation. Okay. Chance I don't want to be messing around swapping out my marshals in the middle of a bloody war. I can reset these guys as well now. How are my diplomatic relations? Diplomatic relations here are going to be a problem because a de jure claim just means this guy becomes my vassal. Hey liege, surely... Alright, so this guy's trying to convince me to release this guy. High diplomacy means that I can tell him to piss off without actually telling him to piss off. So you see here we have problems. This guy does not like me. He is going to become my vassal, and a vassal with this negative opinion is just a very bad thing. So he has to die. And hopefully his heir will like me a little bit more. He has a large court, so hopefully we can make up for a lack of any of them having any real talent with sheer numbers of plotters. One of them will eventually fall over, someone selling poisonous snakes, or someone who knows about the whole exploding dung heap trick. So just invite as many people as we can into the plot initially, and then once the first wave is invited, try inviting more. Don't ever invite anyone with 0%. 0%ers contribute nothing to the plot, and the more people there are in the plot, the greater the chance of it being discovered. I am not that arsed about this plot being discovered. It's not like his opinion of me could get much worse. That said though, it is worth pointing out that this is the total of all the modifiers, meaning that whilst it doesn't go any lower than 100, if it's well below 100 you need to start putting a lot more positive modifiers in before the title will actually crawl above 100 again. So if it's... but again, that's not really relevant to this particular proceeding. Dublin, so okay. There we go. I need to figure out what to do with my Chancellor. There's little point in him fabricating claims because, well, claims... I'm going to have a de jure claim on the rest of the territories in Ireland to begin with soon. The Isle of Man is an independent realm. Might fabricate a claim there, actually. Why anyone would want the Isle of Man, I don't know. Fabricate a claim on the Isle of Man. My spy master, I'm going to have Scheme doing defensive spying in... actually no, I'll leave him for now, because I'll have him Scheme doing defensive spying in Dublin, because this guy will plot against me. Assuming that he survives. We might get really lucky, he might get killed in the siege. I don't think people get killed in sieges. They can get killed in battles, but rarely sieges. I might be able to get this guy. Okay. Can't send gifts while you're at war, as far as I'm aware. So we might need to wait until after the fact before finishing this off. This is nothing to worry about. Black and red flag, rebels. So these guys aren't having any more children yet, but that's not really a problem. Oh, someone's got herself a Duchess title. Duchy of Connacht. I think this has been usurped and back and forth a little bit. Right, these Crusades. The Pope can call Crusades. If Crusades fail, it loses moral authority. As religions lose moral authority, the powers of the head of the religion wane, and the usefulness of the religion, if you will, as a means of combining people under the same rules also starts to fail. Heresies become a lot more apparent, so you have problems with dealing with heretics, because you've got negative opinion modifiers with different religions. You get so many problems with Crusades. However, you can help with these. You'll see here this flag has appeared. Click on it. You can offer to join the war on the side of your Pope. Or, if you are playing as an Islamic nation, or the subject of the Crusade, or you're allied with the subject of the Crusade, it's not always necessarily Islamic nations, you can align yourself with the opposite. Hovering over this gives you an idea of what's going on. So you see His Holiness has declared a war, blah 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 blah. Basically, whoever contributes the most to the war score gets goodies from the Pope, including big piles of money. You do not, in fact, lose opinions from your vassals for raising levies to fight in a crusade. So you can literally just go, right, sod everything, forces up, let's go to the Holy Land. Unfortunately, I don't really have enough forces to make much of a difference. Armies over there tend to be at least 1,000 to 3,000 strong at the smallest. So unless you really need the prestige and so forth, there's no real point in taking part in the Crusades. Not unless if you've got a nation this small at least. Larger nations, yes, take part in the Crusades. At the very least, it means that you get bonuses and you're protecting the religion's moral authority. And believe me, you do want to protect your religion's moral authority. So this siege is progressing well. Okay, Marshal has changed. I will have him researching military tech. I will probably have him go and suppress revolts as well, suppress revolts in Dublin, because I have a feeling this guy's going to be uppity and problematic. And we've seen in the past, in this tutorial series, what happens when you have uppity and problematic vassals. Okay, double dose of good news. The siege is finished, and one of my pretenders is dead. So, claimants to the title of the Duchy of Munster are reduced somewhat. And by God, do they all hate me. Mostly this is due to the tyranny. This is why tyranny is such a pain in the neck. You can see none of these are actual pretenders, so I've got rid of most of my actual pretenders. Apart from this deuce. Okay, surrender? Yes. So that particular war has ended. Unfortunately, because it was a de jure claim, this twat is still in power. And with him in power, we have an issue. Because he is such a bloody negative modifiers. So many negative modifiers. Let's see if now we can splash some money around. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Send a gift, invite to plot. Alright, he should help the plot immensely. So, we now have all that we need for the Kingdom of Ireland to be created, in terms of territory at least. All we need now is the money. So, saving up 300 gold is going to take a little bit of time. I'm not going to be holding feasts or anything like that. I'm just going to be trying to save my money as much as possible and hopefully, through careful taxation and frugal business strategies, we can get that money together. Okay, good news here, that helps. Halfway there. Okay, so you can see here this crusade has actually been successful. Doesn't really do much good for us because we weren't part of it, but you do get those notifications. Apart from that, you may have noticed that in this cut the time has moved on considerably. Oh, excellent, more money. We're nearly there. I've basically just been staring at the screen for the last few minutes, but unfortunately that's a part of the game. The good news is once you have a kingdom under your belt, your income is so high that you can just basically, you don't really need to worry about money again, not unless you're planning on moving up the social ladder even further. So what happened to Lothian? Ah, much reduced. I'm wondering why I can't press my wife's claim, because she is a part of my court. Sort of. Either way, the claim is going to be inherited, so what will happen is on succession, this kid will not only have all of my territories and likely the crown, but will also have a claim onto the Duchy of Lothian here as well, so we could use that to expand the realm, using the full might of Ireland to seize that little place there. Well, actually, we wouldn't be able to because they have a liege. You can't wage war against a vassal unless you're also waging war against their liege. This is why the offer vassalization option is a useful option. It is why sometimes you want to become a vassal of somebody else, because it means that they can't pick a fight with you without... oh, what son is it? About faith, but it's clear he has rather unorthodox views. Okay, so this guy gets chucked in the... Okay, group of hedge knights visit. Look at them reluctantly. I don't really need prestige at this point, I'd rather not lose the gold. You see I've mounted quite a big pile of prestige here, which is making diplomatic relations much easier. Not here though. Okay. This plot hasn't gone very far really. It's starting to get members, but not many. Well, it's got plenty of members. The problem is that none of them are particularly skilled. Still, we're nearly there. Kingdom of Ireland. Hey, there we go. We've hit the mark. 290 gold, 200 piety. That's the cost. I'm not sure what it is with the costing the piety. I think it's possibly because you're elevating yourself closer to God and are therefore not being humble, so the church doesn't like it. But either way, I can take a 200 piety hit, especially if it gives me 400 prestige as well. And all there is to do now is hit create. And bingo. There we go, the culmination of our efforts. A crown, a nice shiny gold border, and the Crown of Ireland. There we go. So we're just going to quickly look at what we can do with this. We now have a de jure claim for war on anyone. So that's very useful. We can conquer the rest of these territories through military means. But more than that, because we are now the de jure liege of a lot of these people, we can offer them vassalization. And you can do this if you are not a de jure liege, but the chances of it going through are very, very slim. So, for example, in this case, if you want to know who the de jure lieges are, obviously you just use the elements here, check de jure, and you can see that any of these duchies are considered a de jure part of Ireland. So, in theory, anyone under those duchies is also de jure. So, offer vassalization. Excellent. Fenny here, offer vassalization. Yep, I'll accept it. You've also got to have power as well. As I say, the main idea behind vassalization is that they will be protected. So if you don't have a strong military, odds are they're not going to accept it. So make sure that you have a strong military when you go out for this sort of thing. Because if you do, you get much better results. Failing military, you can also bribe people, as you always can in this game. And I think that's the lot of them. I think they've all accepted. So let's wait for those responses to come in. Okay, Connacht has sworn. Ulster has sworn. Oriel has sworn. And so has Tyrconnell here. Briefen has sworn. And thus Ireland is united under one crown. So we had a rocky road, but that rocky road I think has led to this tutorial being extremely useful. I think that you should now be in a much better position to understand the game. You'll understand how claims work, how titles work, how succession works, how you need to engineer the family, if you will, so that you get the titles that you want and the territories that you want, how to use de jure claims, and basically how to expand your territory, and how to manage your vassals, how to wage war effectively, how to use your councillors. We've covered a lot. It is a game that has a lot to cover. So this is it for now. I'm not going to continue this series as it stands. If I do, it will become just a complete let's play. I'll be doing commentary rather than going into detail on everything. Oh, this option here, hold a grand tournament, you can do that once. And you can only do that if you're a king, but the bonuses that you get from that are huge. But yeah, either way, that's how you handle the game. We've seen factions, we've seen uppity vassals, we've got one here that's almost certainly going to cause a problem. The rest of them seem to be quite happy there. You see, I now have all these vassals. So I can create titles within these realms as well. So, for example, I don't believe the Duchy of Ulster has been created. So I could create that for 165, give it to myself or give it to another character. I'm probably going to give a duchy to my heir. Making sure your heir has a title one lower than you is good, and giving them to your pretenders can help because it means they have a lot more to lose if they rebel, so they're less likely to rebel. But on the other hand, you're giving them more resources, so you're giving them the military that they need to rebel. From here, what I would probably do is the income is going to skyrocket. I'll just unpause so you can see that the income does go up quite a bit thanks to taxation. I would spend some time buying improvements. I would try and ensure that I have a daughter. Well, hey, I would try and ensure that my territories were much better equipped, both to give me more tax and give me more military. And from there, you need to consider what you want to do next. For me, I would say that the Empire of Britannia would be the next stop. So you need to hold at least 2 kingdom titles. Wales is a good one to go for. Not much needed to conquer. Quite easy to steamroll through. So possibly go after Scotland. There's that claim that I picked up on Lothian, which will be useful a bit further down the line. And yeah, basically from here you've now got plenty of territory, plenty of money. Spend a decade or two, possibly even a whole generation, just consolidating your rule, building improvements, ensuring that the territories and lands are divvied up so that you have the best territories in your domain, your vassals aren't fighting each other, and of course grooming your successor, as we've already discussed in the past. Do these things and you should be in a very good position to seize on any opportunities. And like I say, the good opportunity here is Wales, but I'm also plotting to try and get hold of the Isle of Man. And don't forget, marriage is a powerful weapon. Matrilineal marriages, regular marriages, they have their place. So, it's been a hell of a trip. and thank you all for watching. As I say, I may continue this, but if I do, it's just going to be for the sake of continuing it, and I think we've had enough of this. I think there's been hours and hours and hours of this now, so maybe it's time for something new. And guess what? Earlier today I bought a new capture box. I've been having so much trouble with the capture card that I've been using, especially trying to record PS3 footage. Maybe there's a game series on the PlayStation that I really love, something that's almost as old as gaming itself. Perhaps a let's play of a series that is well known and loved. Worth thinking about. But for now, I'm Evis T, signing off.